Final hour overdrive continues, powered by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening line to the final score. Bryan Hayes, the O-Dog, Jeff O'Neill, Jamie Noodles, McLennan. The Jays are in a good spot to possibly sweep the Red Sox, and then they're in Baltimore for 3 starting tomorrow, back home on Monday with Alex Anthopoulos and the Braves in town, when Vladdy will get the full press conference and hometown ovation, and that's going to be pretty exciting. And I would assume Anthopoulos will be here. Maybe we'll get him on. We should get him on next week. They haven't had a great start, though. I can't imagine Alex is overly ecstatic to talk about his club right now.
He might have took the ice cream machine out of the clubhouse.
Yeah, it might have been the end of the road.
I
for
still
that
feel
one.
like they'll be fine. Don't
It's
you
early.
think?
It's very early, but it was ugly, man. They were 0-7 at one point. 0-8, I think, to start the year.
The ice cream machine. I forgot about that.
Remember
he was
that?
like, the guys came up and said, we want an ice cream machine. And he was like, yeah, great, okay. Now he's probably taking a bat to it and smashing it into 1,000 pieces.
Yeah, he definitely is.
Boys, little report up the Masters. Rory McIlroy just is taking an egg salad sandwich right now in his shorts. He borrowed one from Bobby Weeks and put it in his shorts, an egg salad Sammy.
It's so frustrating.
Okay, just describe what he just did. Was it a chunk?
Here's what happened.
Fold over?
On 15, it's downwind. Everyone's hitting it over the green in 2. So everyone's on the other side of the water. And 15, if you're on the other side, it's tricky because it is so sloped and so downhill. Moving towards the water, if
you don't want to chip it in the water.
Exactly. Right. If you overcook your chip, it's going to run out, and you're going to hit it in the water. Cantlay just did it. Cantlay just tripled 15. He just took a triple because he put it in the water and had to re-chip.
Yeah.
McIlroy steps up, I believe, after watching that, and does it himself. He rolls one into the water. Now he's out there. I don't even know. We're on the air, so I'm not sure what he's doing. But
dude, he just scuzzballed his other chip across and above the. Now he's going to make 7 on 15.
So he's going to drop at least 2, and maybe melt. He may end up even par after this round, and that could be it for McIlroy. It's sickening to say that, but.
He's putting for bogey. He's on 15, and he's putting for bogey right now. And it's the greasiest, slickest putt you've ever putted in your life.
Yeah. I mean, I hopefully get it on the rails, come home clean, finish your round 2 under. You're fine with that. But guys have been hitting it over that green because they can't help themselves. They have to take the water on. They will not, leave yourself short and hit a little chip, 2-putt, and leave. That's the play.
Yeah. And people are like, if you think, he makes a double bogey, which he's going to do. McGinley was talking on the Golf Channel the other day, winners a lot of the times. That little Paul McGinley.
He'll be on fire tonight.
Oh, my God, would he be? I could see him at karaoke, just getting a jig on. Just Irish music and him just crushed.
Enjoying his life.
But what was he saying?
Winners, not a lot of doubles, man. They might have 1 if they're lucky, but a lot of them have 0.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's Scheffler, man. There's nothing sexy or overly interesting about Scotty Scheffler.
No, dude, he walked around that golf course today he was
yawning
cruising through Yorkdale Mall.
Yeah. Shane Bacon was on the call, and Bacon's he just walked up to the 4th tee yawning. There's people watching him. He shot a 68 and bogey free. He had 14 pars and 4 birdies and just cruised around the place like it was nothing. And that's the difference between him and everyone else. And you don't want it's not hyperbole. I get it. There's a lot of golf left, but that cat doesn't do what McIlroy does.
No.
He doesn't do it. If he was in the same spot, he'd chip it 10 feet short, 2-putt, and leave with a par.
Yeah. He would. The one thing he would say, Hayes, is there's only one place that this thing is not going, and it's not going in the water.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we'll see what Rory ends up doing here. He doubled, so he's down. He's still 2 under on the tournament, which is a good start. But
I love that he was yawning. Though isn't that the sign of you just don't care?
No pulse, just out there clubbing golf balls around, never in any danger, everything in the right position, nothing. The guy just he's stalking Augusta National. It's so incredible the way that he plays. All right, Cujo coming up here in a moment. Okay, if I give you the over-under, 2 under for McIlroy, what do you think he ends up shooting on 16, 17, 18. What does he get into the clubhouse at?
Even.
You think he's going 2 over the final 3 holes now?
I think he's going to make one coming in. I think he'll get it back to 3 to save it. I don't think he's going to let this completely derail him.
I hope so.
I hope not.
I hope. I'm pulling for him, man. But yeah, I don't know. That one stings. That one hurts. We got to show the guy with the hat. We'll do it later. But we talked to Bob Weeks a couple hours ago about his routine down there. Egg salad sandwiches. He's already had 8.
Dude, 8 egg salad sandwiches. If someone threw a dart at his butt and his jeans, he would implode on the fairway.
Yes.
Yeah, he would. He is a hazard right now. Like, there should be firemen surrounding him at all times.
It's not good.
God.
Anyway, we have a new record holder in terms of most goals scored in NHL history. It feels like Ovi hasn't played in 2 months. They're playing again tonight for the first time since Sunday. Mm-hmm. I can only imagine what he's going to look like tonight after 4 days of partying. Every time you see a picture of him, he's out for dinner, or he's out somewhere else. Yeah. But very few goalies have faced Alex Ovechkin and not given up at least a goal. Noodles, unfortunately, you cannot put your hand up for that, right? He got you in the one game you faced him. But one guy who owns Alex Ovechkin is former Leaf, longtime NHL goalie, friend of the show. Here is Curtis Joseph. Cujo, you must wear that like a badge of honor. You're one of the very few guys on earth who can look at Ovi and say, I own you. Uh-oh.
Sorry, it paused there for a second.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, it paused for a second. Can you hear me?
We got you, man. Yeah. We got you. So what do you make of it? You own Alex Ovechkin. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I played the final minutes of a game in Toronto and then the overtime. So I couldn't remember when he was chasing the record. I couldn't remember how many games I played against him, but it literally is not even a period. So, but I get my name on a beer can. It's pretty good. So I'll take it.
Yeah,
probably made some saves. That's the thing. I thought I saw that you at least made a couple saves. In overtime back then, he would have been flying. So I'm sure you were able to at least stop him a few times. Maybe not. We've lost
my ride off into the sunset game. I think it was my second last game. And I remember getting into the game and kind of looking around, taking it all in. And they had a flurry of shots before overtime, in overtime. And then he actually had a shootout attempt, the third one, and I stopped him. It's not a shot on goal, Noodles, but we'd count it, right?
Of course you do.
Yeah, but it's not a shot on goal, but it's not a goal either. So for him, so might say three shots on the can, really, and a W.
I like that. I didn't know about the shootout. That's even better, man. That's mano a mano. That's you and Ovi.
Right.
And yeah, that would have been early in his career. And I mean, you're a Canadian. All 4 of us are Canadians. I was saying this last week, Cujo, that like I grew up. You don't even talk about Gretzky's record. Like it's a waste of time. No one catches it. No one's going to catch it. And now he's done it. At any point throughout this run, did you have to stop yourself and say, I can't believe what I'm witnessing. This guy is actually going to do it. He's going to score more goals than Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah, and honestly, Wayne Gretzky is a hero of mine. Obviously, we follow him when we were teenagers, and he's the great one. And obviously, all class all the time. So I don't want to see his records be broken, but a guy like Ovi, he's won me over the years. I was always in the Sidney Crosby camp, but the way this guy celebrated his goals, I mean, I would look at kids and go, hey, you see how Ovi celebrates goals? You celebrate like that. It's a great thing that you can score on an NHL goalie in a game. So celebrate. And he did a great job, and he was great for the game and winning a cup and the celebrations. Man, I'm happy for him. What a great player, what a great ambassador for the game, and man, he deserves it, that's for sure.
Yeah, he never slowed down, man. Like his whole career, this guy, he scored 50-plus his rookie year, and this year, if he wasn't injured, he would have scored 50-plus as a 39-year-old. It's incredible. And we've been discussing how he scores his goals. He's got that one spot at the top of the circle, offside, on his offside, where he just rips home goal after goal after goal. Noodles, you can speak to this. Cujo, we'll start with you. For 20 years, guys like me, idiots like me, are like, well, why don't you just stop it? Like, it's coming.
Or what about somebody like take him away?
Right, exactly. How about a coach try to find out a way to stop this guy, and it doesn't happen. And I'm curious how you game plan for that. Like, it's coming, and if he gets it off, he's going to get you. Like, is there anything more frustrating as a goalie?
Well, Noodles can attest to this. If you don't know he's over there, that's shame on you. And if you're getting over late, the chances of him scoring are a lot better because there'll be lots of holes, clearly. If you can get over early and square, you have a way better chance of it hitting you. Not to say you're going to stop it, but certainly on power plays, I know when we played against Jagr in the playoffs with Toronto, I made sure that Yuskevich was up on Jagr. I said, hey, just don't let him shoot. Let everybody else shoot. I don't care, but don't let Jagr shoot. And then you frustrate the guy, and hopefully he tries a little too hard or he does things. But it seemed to work on Jagr. He got mad at other guys on the team for shooting the puck. But, you got to know he's over there. Noodles will tell you, if you can be there early and you can be there big, you have less holes and a bigger percentage to stop it.
Well, it's funny you say that, too, because I remember when I was a goalie coach in Calgary, we did our prep and we were playing Washington, and I was sitting with Kiprusoff, and, we knew exactly where he's going to be shooting from, what he likes to do. He doesn't just shoot like short side. He'll shoot what's open. That's the one thing. He can bring it, and he's got a powerful shot. So, Kipper's like, I can get there and try and be square. And you played with Mika as well. Such a smart, cerebral guy, and he knew everything before you could even say it. But then Ovi got him that night, and we were sitting on the plane having a beer afterwards, and he's like, I was there. He just beat me. Like, that was the other thing, too. I think there's a lot of goaltenders that, hey, I was there. I feel pretty good about my position. I was set. I was waiting. He just overpowered me. He beat me, over short side or far side, and that's what Kipper said. He goes, hey, it was a good shot. He beat me. That was it.
Cujo, how difficult do you think it is, like, just in general, playing in your own end nowadays with we all played in a time where it was like 3-1 in the third period. There is going to be some lockdowns going on back there, hooking, holding, physicality, and you just see some chaos now. Like, how much more difficult do you think that is for the goaltenders and defenders in front of them?
The game has changed, that's for sure, and it's changed for the better and for the worse. I love seeing all the room and the guys show their skill off, but when I see a guy get 1, 2, 3 chances at it and then put the other rebound in, I'm like, wow. Back in our day, that guy would have been strangled after his first shot or knocked out. But so there are some different things. I was talking about him scoring in the modern era. There's many factors to it. Like, there's more time, there's less clutch and grab on him, but the goalies are. Noodles, you can attest to this. The goalies are bigger and better than we are, and there's less holes. And the equipment for the goalies is stiffer, lighter, so they can move. The big guys can get there. But on the opposite side is that the sticks are better. It's like I always use the analogy. It's like if you put an aluminum bat into the MLB game, what would that do? So I remember when the sticks changed and everybody could shoot it a little harder. McCarthy, I think he was playing for Calgary. He beat me on a one-timer from the top of the circle. I'm like, that changed the game. I couldn't catch up to it. I was like, okay. So there's a lot of factors on the scale, whether it's easier or harder to score. But Ovi's done it over a long period of time. So, man, he's good. He's great. He's the greatest.
Yeah, he holds the record now with Curtis Joseph. Where's your head at with the Leafs here? That was a big win last night. They got a 3-point buffer on Tampa, 4 games to go, and we're into the playoffs. Could be Battle of Ontario, something you're very familiar with. How cool would that be if it does actually come to fruition, Toronto-Ottawa in the first round?
Yeah, now that I'm not playing, I can say who I want to see as a matchup.
Yeah,
I'd love to see the Battle of Ontario, I think it would be great. It would be great for the fans in both cities. I'm gunning for that. I think it'd be a good matchup for the Leafs. The one thing I like better about this team than in the past is bigger defense. And, in the playoffs, the refs put away the whistle. So, I mean, there's a lot more clutching, grabbing, and physicality. I think if it's possible, Auston Matthews and Marner, Tavares are under the radar a little bit this year, I would say, than other years past. I like that. And, of course, our goaltending is, 1A and 1B, whoever. They're both great. I like the goaltending this year more than any other year. So those are all good things.
Absolutely. And to my knowledge, maybe Stolarz, I'd wonder if Stolarz or Wall have been beaten by Ovechkin. I'm sure probably both of them, actually. We could find that out. But you're one of the few guys that wasn't. And Budweiser, that was a really cool story, really cool picture as well. Them sending you that to commemorate never being beaten by Alex Ovechkin. So congrats on that. It's always great catching up with you, Cujo. We'll do it again real soon. Thank you for this.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. Continued success.
Yeah, you
All
too.
right.
There he is, Curtis Joseph, joining us here on OverDrive.
He's the best.
Yeah, and he's right. Man, he would know the Battle of Ontario very, very well. He was in it like 4 times.
Was it during the Battle of Ontario? I was going to ask him, but I think we had it last time we had him on. We asked him about it. When did he go after Mick Magoo?
In Ottawa. If he did that today, I'm telling you, he'd get 20-game suspension.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But was that in the playoffs or was that in just the regular season?
Yeah, I believe so, man. He was bent out of shape when he took his helmet off and then slipped on the puck.
He ran after Magoo and he fell down and took Magoo with him.
He tripped him.
Cut Magoo's feet out from underneath him and he went down.
I didn't want to bring it up, but I think last time we had him on, he told the story. But it was like, I kept thinking to myself, I thought it was a Battle of Alberta,
I believe
or Battle of Ontario game.
Yeah, Battle of Ontario playoffs. And Cujo, yeah, he was right in the middle of that whole battle, man.
So mad. Doogie said it's 2002. So
so that would have been 02. Yeah, that would have been the first round of 02.
Oh my God, so funny.
I think it was the first round. I think they played Philly that year in Ottawa, then Carolina. I think it was.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to catch up with Pierre LeBrun later in the hour. There it is.
What happened, though? What happened? Like, it went in, but
he called a goal and he thought it was interference.
Oh, man. And Magoo didn't have a helmet on either.
Yeah. Like, that, you're right. That's 20 games without even, looking at it.
Well,
is that Gerald Diddick?
Yeah, Gerald Diddick. And the thing is, Cujo doesn't slow down. Like, he doesn't blow a wheel and go, man, I should probably just relax here. He's like, I'm all in, man. I'm going to keep going. And he kept going. He got up, kept snapping, then went around the scrum.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is bent out of shape. Corey Cross on the ice. There's Corey Cross out there. Gerald Diddick. Yeah. That's the 02 Leafs.
Oh, my
Going
God.
on their run. All right, Pierre coming up. Best bet still to come a little bit later in the hour. McIlroy parred 16. So back on the rails. He's on 17T. 2 under on the day. You know what's crazy is there's that Ludwig Oberg again, 3 under. Bryson DeChambeau, 3 under. Same thing they did last year, man.
All on my squad.
I know. I got Scheffler, though, and I got Connors. I got Scheffler and did you take Tyrrell Hatton?
No, nobody did. Not even a thought. I didn't even know he was in the field, dude.
Yeah.
I didn't check on the guys that I gave you guys either.
Dude, Chris Kirk, you gave this guy Chris Kirk, and I think he did?
He took a 9 on one hole, I know that. Like, Kirky was actually off to a really good start, and then he absolutely...
And what about the other guy? Was it Hoagie or whatever?
Yeah, Tom Hoagie. I don't even know where he is, to be honest. I don't think it went well for him.
I gave you 2 duds. Sorry, guys.
Kirk's 3 over. You know who's 3 over is John Rahm. Rahm's out there.
Dude,
he may not make the cut again.
slashing it. We got to come back and show the hat. Come on.
Yeah.
Let's come back, and we're going to have a look at the hat.
Yes. Okay, we'll do that and get to our best bets still to come. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and on the TSN app. All right, Pierre LeBrun coming up here in a few moments. The Jays are wrapping up their series down at Fenway, and they've already won 3 in a row. Gosman was so good last night. Jeff Hoffman came in, got them through the 9th, through the 10th. And the Jays ended up winning last night. Their starting rotation has been outstanding. Best starting rotation ERA in the American League. it's been an up and down year. I mean, it's been, they split with Baltimore, then they sweep the Nationals, then they get swept by the Mets, and now they might sweep the Red Sox. But 8-5 is 8-5. Chance to be 9-5 this afternoon on your way to Baltimore tomorrow. And John Schneider is going to join us on the show tomorrow afternoon.
Pretty damn good if they can get to 9-5, man.
Big time. Big time. And that's, again, with like Bichette, Vladdy, Santander, you're still waiting for them to break out, like in terms of power hitting. Vladdy's been good. Vladdy got the day off today. I think, Schneider said with everything that's going on, a little bit overwhelming, a little bit, of excitement and stimulation. Give him the day off. I don't know if he's coming and pinched hit yet, but he'll be back in action tomorrow.
He is. He has pinched hit. I was reading he's grounds into a forced out.
Okay. Well, they're up 2-1, in the ninth or in the eighth inning. So
yeah, that was in the seventh he did that. But, yeah, I mean, in the end, if they can sweep here, great. You got something heading into Baltimore. But I would like to see Vladdy. I don't know. It's weird. You say put this behind you. Like it's not. It wasn't contentious. I don't think there was some weird things going on, like him.
It was negotiating,
Instagram.
Right? It was, you're right, though. It never got ugly. It wasn't like a screw you contest publicly or anything like that.
Guys, I always say there's positive and negative stress, and this was probably a combination of both. It turned negative, and then it was positive. It's just a lot to deal with, so take a day.
You see a guy, though, sign a deal, or a deal gets announced. Like Aiden Hill's deal got announced in Vegas. He got a shutout that night. Like I was waiting for Vladdy to have a 2-dinger night and that type of stuff.
He's had a couple of hits, but you're right.
Yeah.
You're waiting for him to be like, all right.
Thank
and
you
maybe
for the 500.
It's this weekend.
Yes.
Maybe it's when they get home. Again, they got the Braves in town on Monday. No days off here to start the year. They're just playing and playing and playing for the most part. They just had one, I guess, midweek. But a lot of games early in the year. But good start for the Jays. McIlroy is still 2 under, I believe, on 17. Is something funky going on out there? I'm not watching.
Dude, he just blew his approach shot over the 17th, and he's got the greasiest up and down coming up.
I worry about
He
this
just
guy,
had
man.
another egg sandwich, man,
Yeah.
with Bobby Weeks. Bobby Weeks, he hit his shot, and Bobby Weeks handed him an egg sandwich and said, have another one.
We need some sort of egg sandwich meter. If a guy's
look at this guy. You can buy any hat that says the Masters, Amen Corner, anything. Whatever the names of the holes are.
Azalea
hat, anything. Yeah. You could probably get one that says Jack Nicklaus. This guy got the one that said egg salad on it.
It is pretty funny.
If he put that on the gram for his buddies to say, check out the hat, this cool hat I just picked up. No way, dude. No way do you buy the egg salad hat.
I can't believe they sell that. But if they do, Bob Weeks has got to have one of those hats.
I put his Twitter account on that tweet, and I said, you better get one.
Yeah. I will be so disappointed with Bob and everyone at TSN if he doesn't have an egg salad hat, because that's his whole operation down there. He eats exclusively egg salad sandwiches.
He pounded 8 before he went off the air today.
It's
dude,
aggressive.
if I had 8 egg salad sandwiches, it is a yard sale.
You would have that football bunged up in your stomach again.
I think
that's
that
not
thing
good.
would be fumbled, dude. That would be a botched snap. He would not have an issue anymore, I don't think.
No.
It's just an outrageous diet for a week at Augusta.
Yeah.
But that hat, I'm telling you, because the hat's you've been there. It is the coolest hat scene in sports, man. There's green, white, blue, everything you could ever ask for. Masters, just the logo, all these different cool things.
They've got stuff that, if you're into buying, when they say, hey, grab me something, if you have a buddy that goes to Augusta and doesn't grab you something, it's a shame, because they have the biggest selection of any sporting
everything,
event.
Man.
Yeah.
Anything,
hoodies,
dude.
quarter zips, golf shirts, T-shirts,
and they have
everything.
50 of whatever size and color you want.
Yeah, it's amazing.
50.
It's amazing. I blacked out in there, and that's not me. I've never done that in my life. I'm not a guy. I'm not a tech guy. I'm not a car guy. I like sports and playing golf. That's it. I don't
chicken parm. That's
chicken
it.
parms and hanging out with family and friends, and that's it. Like, I don't live some crazy lifestyle.
No.
I went in there and I blacked out. And I was like, I need 2 of those, 2 of those, 1 of those, 2 of those, 1 of those. Like, I left there with 5 bags worth of stuff. I'm like, what did I just buy? I don't even know what I just got, but I know it was a lot. And I'll never forget it. And I don't regret it for a second. That it's already been a year since I went down this time last year. But Justin Rose at 7 under, Corey Connors at 4 under. Great start for the Canadian. I think Nick Taylor was 1 over or even par, so he actually kind of kept it on the rails. If he can go low tomorrow, he can make the cut. But, it's a really cool opening day, like it always is at Augusta National. Pierre LeBrun will join us here in a moment. The Leafs coming off just a massive win. That top line last night, they needed that. Like we talked about it yesterday. They were awful in Florida. Horrible in Florida. Well. Yeah. And I think the way it starts, Matthews puck retrieval hits Marner, boom, it's 1-0. Then it goes the opposite way. Marner puck retrieval into Knies, boom, it's 2-0. You're like, here we go. Like, it's go time now. And the rest is history. They end up holding off and scoring a beauty in overtime. Matthew Knies with his second hat trick of the year. He's likely to hit 30 goals on the season, might get to 60 points. Unbelievable year. And I would think if you're Auston Matthews, you're thinking, all right, Mitch, wouldn't mind this guy sticks around. Knies, wouldn't mind this guy sticks around. Let's be a 3-pack for the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Here's Pierre LeBrun, our TSN hockey insider. Pierre, how would you handicap Mini Jerry here on the fly that the Knies, Matthews, Marner line is a thing for at least the next 4 or 5 years?
Well, that's a sneaky way of saying what's happening with Marner. Come on now. I wasn't born yesterday.
And Knies.
Knies is going to sign. I'm not worried about that. Although CJ led our insider trading segment this evening with a little Knies item, just talking about all this, people around the league wondering if there'll be an offer sheet on Knies, and CJ poured cold water on that for a number of reasons. One, because the Leafs feel confident that they won't leave themselves open to that. But the most important reason, as CJ says, is he doesn't think Matthew Knies is interested in going down that road. He just wants to re-sign with the Leafs. He's not interested in even going the offer sheet route, which is, I'm sure, good to hear for Leaf fans. But he's certainly doing himself a lot of good with his season. Having a great year. And, I think for the Leafs, you got to figure out Marner, then you got to figure out Knies, and then you got to figure out Tavares in that order. That would be my order.
Well, and in order to do that, then you would have to trust that is actually accurate in the truth. And I'm not suggesting that CJ is being inaccurate, but if you're going to sit on Knies, and say, hey, listen, you got to wait, then you're opening the door for other teams to kick tires. But that would be very relieving, I would think, if you're tree living. If Knies and company say, we're good, we're not going anywhere, we're not doing anything, figure everything else out and come talk to us, that allows you to probably breathe a little bit easier.
Yeah, and that's not to say that they can't sign him as the first item after the season. It's just that by then they will at least have an idea of where Marner is at. You know what I mean?
Right.
So these things, all these conversations have to happen in sequence here after the season's over. But and the bottom line is, I know that everyone's getting excited about offer sheets because the Blues pulled off the double whammy last summer. I'm not trying to say there won't be offer sheets, but I'm telling you when I talk to teams that everyone's saying, number one, the salary cap is going up in a major way for the first time in half a decade. We're finally out of the pandemic flying cap environment. So the mere fact that teams have more room to maneuver makes it harder to slap an offer sheet on someone. And number two, the player has to be compliant in wanting to do this. And I think people underestimate that little part of it. Like, when Sebastian Aho did the offer sheet with Montreal, I think it went completely under the radar that he actually wanted to go through that exercise, even though he knew Carolina would match it. You know what I mean? Like, it might be other markets where it's like, dude, what do you just do? You just sign with that team so you can get what you want and stay with our team? Like, it's not everyone that has the frame of mind to want to go through this. And as it turns out, Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg did, because they knew that the Oilers had no money left for them. I just don't think that many teams are going to be stuck that way as Edmonton was last summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it worked out beautifully. I mean, for St. Louis, that's the amazing thing. And like Holloway now, though, is week to week.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be. I don't know what you're hearing on that, Pierre, but it's not good. Like talking to people in St. Louis, that's, they're talking like they got to get through the first round type of thing.
Yeah, it's not short term, and is all they would say right now. But they've got a lot of depth, though. I mean, they were pretty healthy until that happened. So, and the interesting thing is too is the matchup there in the West keeps changing. So Minnesota winning last night, they've got the tiebreaker on St. Louis, and I love every day watching at the different scenarios. I mean, St. Louis and Minnesota are they getting Winnipeg in the first round or Vegas? Neither one's that appealing, but it's interesting every night seeing the matchups change. Not everything's as locked in as you might think. There's still a week to go here.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, I mean, in terms of jockeying for position, there's still some things that could change. But Montreal basically punched a ticket last night thanks to the Rangers just continuing to melt. And this, no one saw this coming. I'm curious what we should be bracing for. What do you think happens in New York with the Rangers?
Yeah, that's a great question. I talked about it with Gino Reda earlier today on our early insider trading, Brian, because there isn't a lot of hard info coming out of New York right now. But when you talk to people around the league about what they think is going to happen there, a lot of people believe Peter Laviolette will pay the price for this season. He's got a year left on his contract, and so that wouldn't surprise me. I mean, that's sort of the low-hanging fruit, I would say. But I certainly hope that no one's looking at this season saying this was all about coaching. I mean, this is way more deep-rooted than that, in my estimation. Like, someone said to me today, you go all the way back to the way Barclay Goodrow was forced out of New York last June, and the way that upset a lot of guys in that dressing room. And then
that was disgusting.
Right. And then they almost basically did the same thing to Jacob Trouba during the season, except it ends up being a trade, not a waiver thing. But I think my sense is that has seeped into that room to some degree where a lot of guys are like, what's going on here? And I think there's been this malaise around that team all year that they haven't been able to shake. And I know that's an intangible. It's hard to put your finger on, but you got to come up with some kind of answer for a team that won the President's Trophy a year ago and is about to miss the playoffs. I mean, this is one of the biggest fall from graces in a long time in the NHL.
I agree. I agree 100% because I don't think we were talking about it in the last hour, and I was saying, well, if there was going to be 5 from the Atlantic, well, who the heck was going to come out in the Metro? And we didn't think twice that the Rangers were going to be the team that's coming out. And conversely, Pierre, what do you make of Vancouver? I mean, you got Rick Tocchet there, who's it's lame duck. Is that what it's called? Is it you've got I believe his deal's up at the end of this year or an option, correct?
Yeah. I don't know if I would call it lame duck, and I'll tell you why, Noodles. Lame duck to me is a situation where you kind of feel bad for the coach, and it's like everyone knows he's 10-man walking, etc. This has as much to do with what Rick Tocchet wants, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Like his deal is up. There is an option on it. Patrick Alvin made it very clear to me at the gym meetings they're going to do everything they can to sign him to an extension. But then Rick Tocchet, a couple weeks later, made it clear that he wants to wait till the year is over, sit down with Patrick Alvin and Jimmy Rutherford, and just discuss the future here and what's what. Beyond that, we're all speculating. But, I'll just point this out. I'm not saying it's not impossible that Tocchet will sign an extension. It obviously is possible that he might. But I think you have to at least say to yourself, if the extension has been there now for a few months, or the intention of the Canucks being willing to do that, and Rick Tocchet hasn't engaged, it has to give you the sense that he has pause for thought on whether or not he still wants to coach that team. And that's a big deal because, and again, I want to be clear, maybe by the time he decompresses and talks to Rutherford and Alvin, he's like, you know what, yeah, let's do this. I like it here. That may be. But if he doesn't, there are a lot of players on that team that absolutely love playing for that guy. And he would be a loss. Like, that would be a significant loss, I think, for that team if he doesn't end up extending.
Well, Pierre, Hayes was talking about the one guy that spoke highly of Tocchet. You got Quinn Hughes sitting there. Like, how much do they want to make that guy happy? Like, if he says, well, I like Rick Tocchet, don't you just keep Rick Tocchet? Like, that guy and his situation is coming up around the corner. Like, that's going to be a dicey one.
Yeah, so that's right. On July 1st, 2026, so a year plus from now, they'll be able to extend him 1 year out. He's got 2 more years on his deal. He's the number one priority by far of that organization. It's all about appeasing Quinn Hughes, making sure that he's in an environment and a setup that makes sense to him, because they want to absolutely extend him forever when the time is right. And I will tell you this, no one's told me this. This is just me reading between the tea leaves here. I think, I think the captain's happiness is one of the reasons why they felt they had to trade JT Miller, not because Quinn Hughes had a problem with JT Miller. I don't think he did. But because the Miller-Elias Pettersson feud was so damaging to that dressing room and to that team's day-to-day existence that I think the organization's like, we got to clean this up. We got to do something, because we can't have our players live through this, but especially our captain. I truly believe that.
Well, I mean, at this point, it's over in Vancouver. They were mathematically eliminated last night. But Vancouver, New York, I mean, there's going to be a lot of eyes on both of those markets as we move forward. And, as we get closer to the playoffs, obviously people are going to be focused on the hockey, but there's going to be 16 teams that miss the playoffs. Out of those 2 teams, or pushing those 2 teams aside, is there another one that you have your eyes on, Pierre, that will be particularly disturbed by what's happened, or feel like they've got to change the most in the offseason?
Yes, Toronto if they lose in the first round. I'm just kidding.
Yes, valid.
I'm just kidding, buddy.
100% true, though, Pierre.
What a jerk comment. Wow.
Uncalled for, but accurate.
Wow.
No, Boston's a team I raised on Insider Trading tonight, and the simple reason that we're sort of waiting to see what Cam Neely and Charlie Jacobs decide on Don Sweeney, and which may be nothing. Maybe that obviously continues on as GM, where he's been GM for 10 years, obviously done an amazing job. But the reason I brought it up is that there's been no indication either way. He's entering the final year of his contract next season. So usually, no matter what happened in your year, that's like a summer where you talk about things, right? And he's been there a long time. And obviously, the season's been incredibly disappointing for the Bruins. Now, I thought he had a really good trade deadline as far as the return on his mini teardown that he did. He was as busy as almost anyone as far as selling. It was the first time he had ever been a seller at the trade deadline in all his years as Bruins GM. But the bottom line is, I think there are people around the league curious to see, does the marriage continue for an 11th year, or is there change there? And I don't know that change is warranted. He's a guy that's really well respected around the league, but it's Boston, and they have pretty high expectations there.
Yep, they always have, and that's a market where they're not going to let you off the hook for long, man. You don't mess around in Boston. All right, Pierre. We'll leave it there. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll do it again soon.
Right on my way to Scotiabank Pond, Game 2 of the U14 GTHL Finals. Let's go Leafside Flames.
Yes, go Leafside. We love it. Take care of business tonight.
We're going to try. All right, boys.
All right, buddy. There's Pierre LeBrun, a TSN Hockey Insider. The deadline for Boston. What's that?
The GTHL plays at Scotiabank?
No, it's Scotiabank Pond. It's a different. It's a small rink, not a small rink, but it's up in
like
North
a
York,
mini.
I think it is.
Okay, good. I was like, really? They greased their way in there?
Yeah, that would be impressive if somehow you found a way to get to Scotiabank for the GTHL final. But yeah, Boston, they did have a pretty good deadline, and listen, the Leafs are happy with the Carlo deal. I will say one of the luckier guys in the city, based on wins and distractions, is Scott Laughton, because it is a mess watching him play right now, man.
It is a mess, and the other guy that's with him is Jarnkrok.
They don't know what to do with him. They don't have a clue.
And between the two of them when they're on the ice, I would just pull them both aside and say, I'm at the point with you guys where only one of you guys are going to go in the lineup. So you can flip a coin to see who's going in tonight, and if you play good, you can stay, and if not, you're coming out and the other guy's going in. because they're not pissing a drop. Not a drop on either of them.
Well, and the thing with Lawton is he's taking these penalties, and they never get a kill. Never. Like, every time he takes a penalty, it seems like they get scored on.
I never seen him play. Like, I watched him in Philly, and I'm like, this guy's a good player, man. Leafs should be all over this guy. Fast, on the puck, creating chances, energy guy.
1 point. And it just, I don't know, man. I feel for the guy in a way because...
So do I, because he's such a great guy.
Yeah,
and anyone in the game knows that, but it's got to get better.
But you know what it is, too, guys, though? This is a new environment for him here. And you can look around of guys who get traded at the deadline. Some of them immediately settle in. And others, it's like, okay, they don't look like they're, themselves. Like that, I'll give you an example. Ottawa traded for that Zetterlund. He's a good player. Came, 17. He's a 25-goal scorer. He scored his first goal the other day, like the game I was calling. Like, and he had like 32 shots on goal, just couldn't find it, And Lawton, I look at him like this is kind of all this is his new environment. Like, not everybody settles in. Where other guys, it's like, hey, Carlo looks like he's settled in, and he is what he is as a player. Carlo, you know exactly what you're going to get. But Lawton, you're still trying to figure out, like, where does he fit in this lineup? We know where we thought he was going to fit, but right now he's not there yet.
Jamie, that's why I would try to shake up the sequence that's been going on. Because it's like you're playing. I would pull them both aside and say, guys, this is over. You're both veteran guys, and this might be a shock to you, but the idea of both of you two playing is not happening.
Well, but, okay, so I'll give you an example. Is Nick Robertson playing for you? Is he in the lineup game one?
He was doing some bonkers things again last night.
Well, I'm just saying, there's a few guys that
act at times, but I will, like, he can skate, like he can move, and he can score. Like, he does have that ability to score goals where the other two are not even close. So conventional wisdom would speak to a coach leaning on a Lawton or a Järnkrok because of their veteran status.
Right.
But that can change quickly if you don't have faith in those guys, and you look at the other one and say, at least he may do something silly, but he also might break a game open for us.
Right, he might have a shot that
I don't know. I don't feel great about any of them, but that's the concern. Is like you're in a scenario here where your third line to start the game or 2 nights ago was Lawton, Domi, and Järnkrok. Two of them, and Domi, he's playing third line center. Like, that's not going to change, I don't think. So.
Dude, imagine that. We haven't brought that up enough. Like, you spent a first.
Yeah.
So Domi didn't have to play third-line center, and that's a known fact that he ain't moving from there now.
It seems that way.
As of right now, if Lawton can settle in, what's the camp situation? Like,
he's banged up, and he's not moving past the fourth line anywhere.
No, but I'm saying, you got Lawton on the fourth line, like, maybe Kampf comes in and pushes Lawton up, and they, there's lots of maybes.
If he can play at some point.
I'm just saying, like, Järnkrok, I don't know where he fits. Robertson, you're right. You guys laid out a good case. Like, you know what he can bring. You also know, listen, we focus on pluses and we focus on negative of players. That's really what it is. But Lorentz is Lorentz. We know what we're going to get from him. He's playing, right?
Yeah.
Holmberg is
Berube loves him. Is probably going to play again. Offense isn't going to be there. He doesn't score or anything, but
spot duty. But so now you're looking at you're right. Like, you're looking at the Järnkroks, Lawton, Kampf. Who else am I missing? Pacioretty.
Yeah.
Like,
Robertson.
Like, so those are kind of okay. Who's going to fit? Who are we playing? Is it, if it's Ottawa, that maybe the fits here? If it's name me another, Florida, maybe it's here or whatever. I think a lot of that still has to be sorted out in the next 10 days.
Well, I mean, come on. Yeah, I agree, but it's 10 days. We've been talking about it all year. Like,
I know.
At some point, the game's coming. Game one's coming. They got to put a lineup together.
Yeah.
Best bet's coming up. McIlroy has absolutely melted down the stretch. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on the TSN app. All right, Best Bets powered by FanDuel. Make your picks and assemble a same-game parlay in seconds on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. 3-leg parlay tonight. Panthers, money line tonight. Capitals, money line. They're getting plus money at home against Carolina. I think a lot of people think Caps aren't playing well, the Ovi hangover. They got to get going. Caps got to win. They got to start playing better here. And you're getting plus 132. I'll take it. And the over in the Buffalo-Columbus game, that parlay paying plus 511. 11. Today's best bets powered by FanDuel and the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Absolute tragedy on the back nine for Rory McIlroy. I'm sick for this guy because he was 4 under par on the 15th tee.
Yes. And went for the green in 2. Like, up and down, you're 5 under, bro.
Yep, exactly. You could just play it. Although even going over the green, fine. The second he hit that ball hit the club, it was in the water. The second he hit it way too high, way too hard. He doubles 15, pars 16, doubles 17. And he's even par now on the tournament. He never shoots under par ever on Thursday. He's chasing Rose, Scheffler, DeChambeau, Oberg. I mean, there's a chance this spirals him into a 75 tomorrow and he misses the cut.
Dude, he had eggs. Him and Bobby Weeks just gooned egg salad sandwiches, and they couldn't stop.
Yeah, that's the
And you know what happens after you have egg salad sandwiches?
That's right.
Yes,
the curse
we know.
of Bob Weeks and his egg salad sandwich.
Yes.
Absolutely buckling down the stretch by McIlroy. Disappointing.
Wow, what a
right.
smell.
Well, we'll see where we're at tomorrow. Thanks to everyone behind the scenes for helping out, everyone for tuning in today. TV, radio, podcast, web. We appreciate it. We're out of here. Enjoy your evenings. Enjoy the games tomorrow. We're back tomorrow at...
Round of egg salad Sammy's tomorrow on Bobby Weeks, 4 p.m.
We'll chat then.